Multifamily can be divided into different classes, and some of the very familiar class of multifamily is the class A, B, C, and D. We actually also have a class E, and I'm going to explain that shortly. What is the difference between a class A property and a class B and class C and class D? So I'm going to break them down shortly in this video. So for a class A property, some of the characteristics are they are newly built within the last 10 years. They are located in very good areas. They are also for the affluent individuals, executives. In terms of rent, they pay very high rent and low vacancies. And they are located in the best of the area. Those are some characteristics of an A class property. So what are some of the characteristics of a B class property? Class B properties are slightly older than the class A property. They have good finishing, but not as good as the class A high-end finishing. The amenities are not also as beautiful as the class A property. They are well located in strong middle class income area. They have good amenities, but might require some little upgrades and all that. These are properties that are mainly for young professionals, strong middle class income earners. These are people that stay there. They have stable rent and also good occupancy. So you can see some slight difference between a class A property and a class B property. So what are class C properties? These are properties that are older in age, between 20 to 30 years in age, and might show signs of aging. So class C properties are properties that were built between 20 to 30 years or even older. They show significant signs of aging and deferred maintenance. They can be located in less desirable areas, and most of the tenants there are typically the blue-collar workers, low-income earners. The amenities are basic amenities, and the finishing are just the basic finishing. Most of them are dated and all that. So these are some of the characteristics of a C class properties. What properties can be classified as D class? These are my less preferred category, but we know some people that like the class D assets. But what are the features or the characteristics of a class D property? These are way older properties, between 30 years and above. They have large deferred maintenance. They are located in the worst of the areas. It requires high maintenance. It poses high risk, little or no amenities in such areas, and the tenant and profile or demography of tenants on those kind of properties are typically the low income earners and all that. So these are some of the characteristics of a class D property. So what are the characteristics of a class E properties? Class E properties are properties in the emerging markets that are currently undergoing significant redevelopment or repositioning. Typically, these are properties in markets. Most of them are in the tertiary market and currently undergoing repositioning. That is, maybe it was formerly used for maybe student housing, they're repositioning it to become a residential, or maybe it was an hotel, they're positioning it to be a residential multifamily, or maybe it was a mixed building and they're repositioning it to become something else. So these are typically in the emerging markets that are undergoing significant redevelopment or repositioning in that market. So what are some of the characteristics of a class E multifamily property? So some of the characteristics of class E is that they have varying level of amenities. It just depends on the redevelopment plan of that area. Characteristics is that is a transition redevelopment kind of assets, just like I earlier stated. So some of the features of tenants that are in the class E assets it's typically a mix of different tenant income categories depending on the outcome of the redevelopment plan. So depending on what that development plan is, that's the type of tenant that would be for that class of property. There are some of these properties that might not fall into these categories I just mentioned, and they are specialty multifamily assets. They can be described as that. So what are these properties? They are, one, we have student housing, we have senior housing, we have low income housing, and the mixed residential housing. The tenants that appeal to each of these properties, like for the student housing we have, is appealing to students like college students. So typically they are very close to universities. The second one, which is the senior housing, these are tenants tenants, they are retirees, older senior level people are the ones that this appeal to. We also have the low income housing. These are people that need some kind of support from the government. These are low income tenants, and the mix, typically both residential and commercial people. So it can be both type of tenants that you require for the mixed residential multifamily assets. So understanding this can help you align your investment strategies with your risk tolerance, with the tenant demography you want to specialize in, with your comfort level. So it's important that you understand the different assets and say, okay, this is my risk tolerance and this is how I want to venture in my investment journey. It also depends on your goal. What do you intend to achieve? That will also help you align that with the goal of your investors. So aside from using the age of a property, you can also classify an asset into various classes, either class A or class B. Aside from the age, you can also use the location, the amenities, the economic performance of that property. You can also use the tenant profile. All these are different ways you can also classify a property for you to know if it is a class A, class B, class C. And I also want you to know that you can also convert a class C to a B class. Definitely you cannot change the age of that property, but you can work on the upgrades, especially if that property is located in a B class area. You can easily change the profile of your tenants to a B class. You can change the amenities to be a B class amenity, the economic performance, especially when that property is located in a good area. All these things can be achieved. So you can actually convert a C class property that was built 30 years ago to a B class property, looking at all these things I just mentioned. So for Blue Ocean, because of our goal, we've aligned our strategies to C class property and B class property. So why do we like the C class property? Because our business plan for a C class property is to convert it to becoming a B class property. And for the C class property, it gives us that value add opportunity, because typically C class property, the rents are low. If we're able to do those things that can bring it up to a B class property, we can be able to take advantage of the value that poses. Then for why we also invest in a B class property is because a B class property is one of the stable kind of multifamily assets, and it gives you good type of returns and reduces the risk and all that, and gives you a very good tenant profile, and it's typically located in a good area. So we like to invest in B class property, and if we see the opportunity to convert a B class to an A class, looking at all these characteristics I just mentioned, yes, we can take advantage of that. So Blue Ocean's equity, we invest both in B class, C class property, although we have an A class property because we saw the opportunity. It was giving us the kind of returns that we want. So we took the opportunity and bought an A class property. But typically we like to invest in a B and C class. So I would like to know, what are the multifamily asset classes that you are investing in, and how is it propelling you to your investment goals? Thank you for listening to this. Please have a wonderful day.